Oh, it's cool. We're in the middle of rehearsal for a tour, so it was actually kind of a real organic stripped. It was a real stripped, Not that any of them aren't real, but for me, I didn't really have to change a lot of the format in my mind because the band is so kind of in flux right now in terms of building our sound, and it was kind of cool to let that be heard, Yeah, no, we're all still just discovering moments in songs every time we play, so and that will probably happen through the whole tour. I wanted to make a record with Continuum that was going to last, number one. Music, I wanted to investigate musically what makes my favorite songs, what makes them last as long as they last. And I wanted to make a record that felt really complete from beginning to end and had a tone from beginning to end. And when I think of Continuum, I think of an idea for a song, and then you get to hear it. And I don't remember a lot of stuff in between, And so what you hear is exactly what was kind of realized by having written the song. So there's no crazy production. It's just me singing, my guitar, a band, and hopefully the tunes that are good enough to carry that premise, The inspiration for this lineup is probably, it's picking up where the band before the trio left off. And also, the trio, it was a fantastic thing and is a fantastic thing, and it will continue to be something that I, contribute to. But having played in a trio, you start to miss certain luxuries. So I definitely made sure those luxuries are back here, which is being able to enjoy what I'm doing actually as I'm doing it, because I can take my hand off the guitar for a minute and sing, or just think, or just listen. And in the trio, you don't have time to do that. You just punch, Which, by the way, I love. I like the comfort of this right now. Oh yeah, we're still figuring out how to play these tunes, and the fact is that all these guys are so great. Nobody's playing these tunes wrong, Any way we play these tunes, there's a viable way to play them. So it's just a matter of how do we perform on stage in a way that honors how right the music on the record is. So we're getting there. I wanted to produce Continuum myself and with Steve Jordan because I felt like sometimes in the music world difficulty is inserted by difficult people, and Steve taught me that it does not have to be made difficult. And I also felt like I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do this time around, and I didn't need anybody else. That's really the bottom line, is I didn't need somebody wanting to take a look at my lyrics and make suggestions on change. I didn't need to do all that, and I've never really needed that much, but I wanted to hear what my song sounded like when there was a very, very, very select few pair of hands on them, And I just see Continuum as like an assembly line that just went from the idea to the execution to you hearing it, and there's no one else's sensibilities in there going, well, what I was thinking would be cool. Nope. This is what I think is cool about music, what I think is cool about my music, and then because I'm the producer, making sure that I don't do that wrong. It's really hard to do justice to being your own producer. It was a little more insular for me, a little less talking and a lot more thinking, because I didn't have to explain myself to anybody. My conversations were with myself in the car, listening back to a rough mix at the end of the night, and really listening. I'll listen to the same song a dozen times and just keep trying to figure out, is this me? And by the end of that process, I get a really good sense of who I am, and I get a really good collection of songs because I took all that time to really make sure that it felt right, and it was right. My influences are anything powerful and in control of itself, and something that comes across as a force and melody, and a certain kind of a sweetness that I like, a sweet spot of melody or rhythm or groove. I don't like ugly music. I like pleasant things. Even when it's gritty, it can still be pleasant. And specifically on this record, the inspiration is the the texture of R&B and soul music, and why so much great soul music still works today, exactly as it did many, many years ago. And I'm really inspired by the idea of making a record that doesn't get phased out by fashion. You know, it's hard to do, and I don't know that I did it. I hope I did it. But you have to really fight pretty hard against all your momentary instincts, all your kind of young Generation X instinct, and really stick with what you know works. Well, Heart of Life is a gift for me to have this early in my career, because I'm working for more like that, and I get one. You get one Heart of Life every couple records, you know. So I'm happy about that. It's tricky covering Jimi Hendrix. Most people will tell you don't even go near it. I would probably agree, but if you're pure of intention, I say go for it. Hopefully I can carry that without doing anything wrong. I think Hendrix was a beautiful songwriter, and I approach covering his music on a songwriting level. I would never think of just covering a guitar piece. And a song like Bold as Love is very beautiful, compelling, and underappreciated Hendrix tune in the kind of annals of what makes Jimi Hendrix Jimi Hendrix. And so I hope that I also like the risk of it. It's a little dangerous, isn't it? You know, but hopefully when people hear it, it's not a guy trying to play off of Jimi Hendrix's legacy in a way as to get some blowback from it, you know? Because I really, more than wanting to take from Hendrix's music, I want to contribute to it. You know, I want to contribute what I do to it, and maybe if there's, a couple more kids who get into Hendrix's music because of my having covered a song and them listening without the prejudice of someone else's voice and it just being me, and that's a really good service. And I feel like maybe that's giving back to taking, you know. It's such a difficult song to play, and it's such you get a great sense of how incredible Jimi Hendrix was as a musician, because that's the level of focus and intensity and intricacy he was able to sustain at all times. And for me, I can't. So it's like just trying to hold on and steer it right. And I don't steer it perfectly all the time, but I won't be covering that song all the time. How about that?